75 million years ago, the Galactic Confederacy, a group of 76 planets including Earth, then called T-Geek, was ruled by a dictator named Xenu. The Confederacy was suffering from overpopulation, with an average of 178 billion people per planet. Xenu's solution was a mass extermination. He summoned billions of beings under the pretense of income tax inspections, froze them, and transported them to Earth in spacecraft that resembled Douglas DC-8 airplanes, except they had rocket engines. These frozen bodies were dropped into volcanoes on Earth and then nuked with hydrogen bombs, killing the physical bodies. However, the immortal souls of these beings, called Titans, survived. Xenu used a kind of electronic ribbon to trap these souls and subject them to a massive implant, kind of brainwashing. During this implant, they were shown a series of images, ideas, and lies, including false religions like Christianity and Islam, false identities, and false memories, designed to confuse and disorient them. After this implantation, the Titans clustered together and attached themselves to living humans. These clusters are called body Titans BTs, and according to Hubbard, every human being today is full of them. The purpose of OT3 is to identify and remove these body Titans from oneself using Scientology's auditing process.
This story has never been acknowledged publicly by the Church of Scientology. Scientology has gone to great lengths to keep the material secret, even filing lawsuits when they were leaked online. It was kept hidden from lower-level Scientologists and the general public for decades, but it was leaked in the 1980s and is documented in several court cases now. The Wall of Fire, or story of Xenu, is one of the central, though secret, elements of Scientology's advanced teachings. According to L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, this story is revealed at Operating Thetan Level 3, OT3. Hubbard wrote this story as literal space opera history, not metaphor or allegory. He believed these events were real and verifiable through auditing and spiritual experience. Hubbard claimed that reading this material without proper spiritual preparation could cause illness or death. You may be thinking, but who would believe such a story? And you'd be right. This is why they wait to tell you the story until you make it to Operating Thetan Level 3, because by then, you've already invested years of time and tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars into the cult.
Karma's a bitch.
Queen of Karma.
So why the secrecy? Lower-level Scientologists are told that the upper levels contain dangerous knowledge that can harm you if you're not ready. This fosters fear, reverence, and mystique around upper levels, while justifying secrecy. In truth, it's a tool to milk more money and ensure deep psychological commitment before members discover the absurdity of the belief system. Scientologists use terms like suppressive person, SP, and entheta to dismiss criticism. They're taught to never read or engage with criticism of Scientology. Even family members who speak out can be disconnected, cut off entirely. In fact, the fair game theory was established by L. Ron Hubbard in the 1950s. It was used in response to criticism from within and outside the organization. Individuals or groups considered fair game were judged to be a threat to the church and could be punished and harassed using any means possible. Although in 1968, Hubbard officially canceled the use of the term due to negative public relations, there is more than enough proof that these practices are still used to this day.
Scientology's founder L. Ron Hubbard ordered his followers to attack critics by any means possible.
You're committing suppressive acts.
The fair game policy, written by Hubbard, decreed that enemies of Scientology may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientologist without any discipline of the Scientologist, may be tricked, sued, or lied to, or destroyed.
Are you the OT8? Marty? You came all the way from San Jose. David Miscavige
Pat, you come all the way from
Marty,
San Jose
I came
to
out
mess
here,
with my PC who's here.
I came out here a
78 to like a cartoon, like to South Park, to me, to you, to anybody who is speaking out against Scientology. It has nothing to do, you don't even need to be a former Scientologist. I mean, Tracy McNabbs, every journalist who's writing about Scientology is now have a fair game operation. Now, let's just talk about this technical point about fair game. We've covered this in our podcast. We've covered it many, many times. The policy of fair game, if everybody could just find it, fair game, enemy condition, says that we don't put it in writing anymore that people are fair game. That's what the policy says, everybody. It doesn't say that fair game has been canceled. So please, journalists, get your heads out of your asses when you get this kind of response from Scientology, and you could just read the plain English. It just says, we don't put it in writing. The handling of a suppressive person, which is anybody who speaks out against Scientology, is labeled a suppressive person, does not change. What does that mean? Fair game.
Right. We just don't call it that anymore.
Don't call it that.
Because it caused bad public relations.
Exactly. That's exactly what the policy says. It caused bad PR. And now, another thing. Fair game, the activity of fair game, like I've mentioned in my lawsuit, is not one policy. It's thousands of policies. There's a 1,500-page course that Scientology puts out that teaches civilian Scientologists how to destroy people who speak out against Scientology. And any civilian Scientologist can do it if they volunteer to do it. That's where you see the Jim Meskamins, on Twitter. He's engaged in, for his church, fair game activities against all of us. Marty Rathbun, right? He's another one who's anybody who does videos and who, Scientology dad, these are people who are involved in these fair game operations. So it's thousands of policies. However, there's about 5 or 6, Mike, that are quoted in the actual operation. So once labeled an enemy, an attacker, a suppressive person of Scientology, your name that gets sent over to OSA, and then they take out the LRH policies of fair game. They're not labeled fair game. They're just under the fair game banner. And they start to write up the program based on the policies. One of them is
counterattack tactics.
Thank you. Counterattack tactics. And there's 4 others that are usually named on these operations that OSA, then. One of my favorite lines is in the policy when before they draw up the actual handling, is the L. Ron Hubbard policy says, find out what they seek to protect.
Right.
And then go after that, right? And so
right.
Here it is, Mike. Here's one of them, okay? So this is an OSA operation.
Right.
And it says the references at the top. So everything in Scientology has to refer to what you're doing, has to refer to an L. Ron Hubbard policy. So they put the policy on top. It says counterattack tactics, intelligence principles, and OSA Network Order 64, how intelligence is run. Just like any other church, everybody.
They've started submitting anonymous complaints to various state agencies about the Aftermath Foundation. And we know this because this week I've started to receive letters from these agencies requesting more information, making some inquiries. Except the problem is over at Scientology, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it again and again, they don't have a lot of big brains running the show over there. Because the way that we know that the inquiries that are being received by the Aftermath Foundation are not a result of just any state regulators doing some sort of a normal review or anything like that, is because the letters aren't going to the Aftermath Foundation's official address. They aren't going to our attorney. They aren't going to another one of our official mailing addresses in Colorado. The letters aren't going to the president of the foundation who lives on the West Coast. The letters are coming to address to me personally and are being sent to my personal residence. Absolutely no state authority would look up the Aftermath Foundation and know to send an inquiry to me personally at my house. I'm not the president of the foundation. I'm not the treasurer of the foundation. I'm not the attorney of the foundation. I'm literally like the fourth person who should be receiving correspondence, much less at my personal home. So these inquiries that are being received are very clearly in response to some sort of specific complaint that's being filed state by state by state, really just in an attempt to inundate me or the foundation in paperwork. It's really just an effort to harass and create a lot of busy work. And it's a little sad that this is what Scientology has been reduced to. Now, is there any chance whatsoever that someone else other than Scientology is submitting complaints about the Aftermath Foundation state by state by state? You know, mathematically speaking, sure, but realistically speaking, no. It drives Scientology absolutely crazy to know that this nonprofit organization has been able to help people escape from all levels of Scientology. We've been able to help staff members and Sea Org members escape from all over the world. And the involvement of the Aftermath Foundation even means that Scientology isn't able to harass these people while they're trying to escape and after they're trying to escape. And ever since the Leah Remini Scientology in the Aftermath show, now Miscavige has to worry about whether anything they do to interfere with someone who's escaping from Scientology with the Aftermath Foundation's help, whether that may now yet be just another thing that would be featured potentially on another TV show. It's all of these little things working together that makes the Aftermath Foundation so effective and gives it the ability to be so effective in helping people escape from Scientology.
Auditing is the heart of the trap. Auditing is billed as spiritual counseling, but it's a highly invasive and coercive interrogation recorded by the church. Members pay for each session. It has been reported that each session lasts at least 2.5 hours and costs $800 per hour. According to Leah Remini, actress and ex-Scientologist, reaching clear, the goal for Scientologists, will cost anywhere from hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. Everything said in auditing, including secrets and traumas, is documented and sometimes later used to blackmail defectors. Auditing has been used in fair gaming, those that have left the cult. During auditing, an E-meter is used, very similarly to how one would use a lie detector. The E-meter is presented as a tool for detecting spiritual distress, but in practice, it's a prop to give the illusion of scientific authority. The E-meter allows the auditor to claim the presence of charge, which means pay for another session. Scientology is pay to progress. This cult financially abuses all members and strips them of any resources. Members are pressured into maxing out credit cards, taking out loans, or donating everything they have. Ideal org fundraising campaigns are often a never-ending demand for money, with donors pressured for status and recognition.
How would you describe the E-meter?
It's another part of a really good scam. Has there been a major upset in your life recently?
People need to know it's nonsense, it's pseudoscience, it's a pretense.
Members are told that leaving Scientology will result in spiritual death, misery and illness, the wrath of the church. Ex-members have been fair gamed, meaning stalked, harassed, and defamed. Some live under constant surveillance. Is it the bridge to total freedom, or is it the bridge to total control? The bridge is a roadmap promising spiritual freedom, but in reality, each step is carefully controlled. The church uses it to create the illusion of progress. Members are blamed for any failure, told they're not ready, and sold more auditing. Leaving Scientology often means losing your entire community, career, and family. The fear of disconnection, surveillance, and retaliation keeps many silent. Former members like Leah Remini and Mike Rinder describe it as a psychological prison. But you no longer have to stay silent. We are listening. Scientology markets itself as a path to truth, but its foundation is manipulation, secrecy, and financial exploitation. If you or someone you know is trapped in this organization, you are not alone. Resources are available, and many amazing people have escaped this cult and recovered. I will leave resource links down below. Subscribe for more information. Stay skeptical and stay safe out here. Until next time.
Lifetime after lifetime, all the way to a rather unpleasant incident that took place 75 million years ago. It turns out there was a chap named Xenu, nasty fellow, bit of a bureaucrat. He ran what was known as the Galactic Confederation, a collection of planets absolutely teeming with people. Overpopulation was a real headache. Now, most rulers might implement some gentle reforms, perhaps a housing initiative, but not Xenu. No, he had a much more efficient plan. He rounded up billions of beings, froze them, stuffed them into space planes that looked exactly like DC-8s, but with rocket engines, of course. And he flew them here to Earth. Back then, Earth was called TGAC. But let's be honest, Earth has a better ring to it. Then the real fun began. These poor souls were dropped into volcanoes. Yes, actual volcanoes. And obliterated with hydrogen bombs. Now you might be thinking, well, Ron, surely that was the end of it? But oh no, the real mischief came after.